Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddie System, a 911 deep dive podcast hosted by three friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
No stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
This episode brought to you by Jeff the Land Shark. Welcome to Dispatch, What's on Call this week.
this week we're discussing Season 2, Episode 11, titled New Beginnings. Written by Tim Minear and Kristen Rydell, directed by John J. Gray, and it originally aired on Monday, March 18th, 2019.
We had 4 calls of the week. The first is 3, 2, 1, face lift off. Good, because that's the funniest one you're going to get today. And in this call, a woman preparing for a facelift goes under anesthesia, only to wake up mid-surgery to find everyone else rendered unconscious due to a pipe leak. The second one is jumping the shark, where a truck carrying a rehabilitated shark en route to release gets into a crash on the freeway, and the man who was trying to keep the shark wet and being able to breathe gets his arm trapped in its jaw, and then the 118 help deliver the shark back into the ocean. The next two are kind of connected. So we have false alarm, ? Where a young boy, Stevie, calls 911 about something bad that his dad did. But his dad gets a hold of the call and assures that it was innocuous and everything was fine. Relatedly, later we hear back from Stevie with, I called it, boy who cried wolf in sheep's clothing. Stevie contacts 911 again, this time running away from his dad and trying to return his brother, to his proper family. So this is kind of a fitting episode for like a mid-season premiere, because this would have been, after that 3-month hiatus that we are currently going through now.
Oh my god, you guys! I was going to save this for later, but I just thought, you know how Season 8 is directly paralleling Season 2? So I was going to bring up the abduction of it all, but
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize this was the mid-season premiere.
Yeah. No, that's so interesting, because I was thinking about it earlier too, and I was like, I think there was some like discourse, but it wasn't really like discourse on like on Twitter, right before the Season 8 mid-season finale, and people were wondering like if we were going to get a true like cliffhanger sort of thing, and I think we were talking about it and kind of realized that 911 doesn't really do like mid-season cliffhangers in a traditional sense. Yeah, like they kind of do it on like the mid-season premiere, and I think with what you said, like Season 8 mirroring Season 2, I think we're going to get something kind of similar, because in Season 2, with the last episode, the Merry Xmas, we end with the kind of cliffhanger. It's more of like a shocking reveal that Doug, or Chimney's new best friend, Jason Bailey or whatever, is actually Doug. And then it leaves you for 3 months. And then the true cliffhanger happens at the end of this episode, and I kind of think we're gonna get that with Season 8,
the same
because
thing.
We got like the reveal of Eddie's going to Texas, and
Because we have all these abduction theories. Not to get too much into Season 8 stuff. This is not a Season 8 episode. So,
but
sorry,
you can listen
everyone.
to our Season 8, Episode 7 and 8 episode.
It's titled "It's the Damn Season."
Thank you.
I think Rachel forgot.
And we talk a lot about that there, but I think there is something to be said if we're looking at possible abductions. I have a feeling that would come back with Episode 9.
Yeah,
and that's the true cliffhanger.
Well, now that you said all that, I'm just going to add my little tidbit.
Yeah.
If it truly is paralleling Season 2, like now I'm thinking like what... So, okay, Eddie goes to Texas. it ends with him finding out Buck gets abducted. Wow, can't speak today.
That's why we all want to say kidnapping, because abducted is a stupid word to say out loud.
I like what we came up with.
Abduction?
Yeah, abducted.
I don't even know what I said. I just know I said it wrong.
It's hard to say.
Abducted. Abduction.
Yes,
I know that was a movie.
Kidnapping.
The TikToker who has been going really strong with the abduction theory, half of the time he's like, kidnapped.
Adult napped.
Sorry, continue, Sil.
Yes.
I think that's it. Just that maybe that's what we're gonna get, because it could parallel like the whole Chimney and Maddie as well, because Buck and Eddie also just loves to parallel like our actual canon relationships on the show. So
that would be so delicious.
That would be delicious.
Tim?
I mean, Tim said that this whole, I don't know.
This is already shot.
I know.
What Buck is doing. Like, he's like, oh, it's not going to last long. So he's just going to spiral immediately.
Spiral right into a windowless van.
Anyway.
They told him there were baked goods in there.
That's what I was thinking. The facade of the van is just like a bakery, like food truck.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, back to this episode,
guys.
So, what'd you guys think about the episode?
I think it's a really good episode. This is a hard one to rewatch, like multiple times in this like a short amount of time that we had to do it for this, because it's like, it's so serious. Like, it's not serious because we have jumping the shark, but like the rest of it.
Well, that is the levity
That
of it
is
all,
the
of
levity.
the entire.
Yes. But yeah, I think it's really great stuff. Getting to meet Athena's parents.
Oh boy.
There are no like bio parents of the adult cast members who have rights on the show, actually.
No.
Hen's mom.
Hen's mom. Hen's mom, I think, is the only one that truly gets like redemption, because she's actually
and we see
worked
it
for it
we
and
see
earned
it.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just like,
no,
redeem me, and we're like, no.
And then they show up, and like the stuff we do get of them is them just continuing to be terrible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this showed us, was a really good window into Athena, really good window into like Bobby's current workings of like where they stand now after deciding to, get
married.
take the plunge. Yeah. So I think that's all really good. The Chimney stuff drives me fucking bonkers because he's just too trusting.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in our last episode for 210, like kind of about like all the differences between how like Maddie and Chimney, and a little bit of Buck in there as well, like develop their trust in others and how trusting they are. And I thought I really enjoyed this episode. I think it was a like strong one to have for a mid-season premiere, especially because there's so much connective tissue between where we left off in 210 and kind of like picking that right up, which I think is kind of important for like when you get mid-season breaks, especially ones so long as these, because the last episode, it was like November 20 something, like late November. So we're feeling it right now, right? Like what this was. And yeah, I think there's a lot in here that works very well together. Like everything seemed like really, really cohesive with all of the calls and kind of like these new beginning themes. Even though jumping the shark seemed so like, what are we doing? But like it still was connected in that way. Yeah, I really liked seeing. I don't know what else to say. What Han said.
I don't know. I like the episode. I do like the themes about new beginnings. I love that we got to meet Athena's parents and get a little bit more insight of her backstory as well, because we do get that little nugget at the end. I don't know. I like seeing that complicated like dynamic on screen, and like how they, I guess, try to move forward or address that conflict. And, you know, the levity of it all, like, you know, the little nuggets of levity that we did get, like, I think they were really funny, even though that first one is just nasty. I'm sorry.
It's gross.
It gives me
Props.
heebie-jeebies every time.
Every time her
Oh.
It's the forehead.
Yeah. Like the
flopping
neck
down for
part
me.
part is like, okay, we can deal with it. But
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like what a gag. It's so funny, like comedic. And I mean,
Yeah.
the makeup department does a great job, but
Oh my God. I can't imagine waking up like that. And it's right there on screen. I can't. No. That's a big no. Mid-surgery, you wake up, someone's operating in your stomach. Holy sh! No.
this is nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
This show is nightmare. Every emergency is nightmare.
Oh yeah, it's like every new, like, as we keep saying, like every new fear unlocked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing is normal ever again.
Nope. But yeah, anyway, great episode and great cliffhanger, because I swear to God, I fuck you, dog. I just saw that.
Syl's little like subtitle on her video.
Mm-hmm.
It just says "fuck you, dog."
Fuck you, Doug. Nice.
I keep
A
on
sentiment I think we all
I
agree
almost
with.
put that same thing, and then I just was blarg.
I couldn't think of anything.
Madney doesn't deserve this,
No.
No.
especially Chimney getting first he gets
God.
rebarred on the head, and now he gets fucking stabbed.
When can Chimney catch a break?
Never. Anyway,
Gosh, like when Chimney becomes the narrative's favorite, like they go hard on him.
Mhm. They do.
I mean,
Good
is he
Lord.
911 Jesus?
They all kind of are.
Most of them are. Hen's not really.
I don't think she's had a. I don't think she's had one of those experiences.
No.
Good.
yet.
She shouldn't. She's done.
Tim Minear, if you're listening to this,
Don't
we
do
never
anything.
said that Hen has never had a near-death experience. We never said leave her alone. Everything's normal. Fine here.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Everything's normal.
Continue on.
Absolutely.
Should we get into a deep dive? Jaws of
Let's.
Life?
We're gonna need the jaws of life over here.
Dun,
Let's dive into
Dun.
the jaws of life.
dun.
Wow. That's how you can
It
tell
was
I'm tired.
right there.
I know.
Not those jaws. Which I love that they of course they had to, but I mean, Tim Minear, 1970s horror like
Just trying
stan.
to imagine him in the writer's room like, okay, I have a great idea.
I'm
What if we like literally just jump the shark?
I'm
I know
gonna
it's only season 2.
I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So I found a couple articles. Both of them were interviews with Tim Minear, which I think tends to happen a lot with, you know, like a season premiere or a mid-season finale or premiere and season finale, you know, like those 4 big episodes that they're trying to drum up a lot of press to like get people in the door or on the couch theory.
Teaser. So teaser trailer.
Everything is couch theory if you just believe.
Rachel.
Anyways, so there are the 2 articles with Tim Minear, and they kind of talk about, you know, picking up from where they left off in the mid-season finale. And Tim says, sorry, I didn't write any of this down. I just have the articles pulled up. Tim says, you know, we want everybody to worry a little bit. So in addressing the cliffhanger of this episode where, you know, spoiler, Chimney gets stabbed and Maddie gets kidnapped. He said, yeah, we want you to be worried for a little bit, so we're not going to come back to it right away, right? Which is kind of hard to do, like a hard break when you're just like stewing in that a little bit.
Mhm.
So he talks about a couple of the episodes that are going to be coming up. So he mentions stuff about Chimney Begins, which would be the next episode, and he also kind of previews in both articles some things about the Ocean's 911 episode that he was kind of excited about, like a heist episode. And there's a mention about the Bobby Begins Again, which they kind of created this like hybrid of what they've already established from Hen Begins and Chimney Begins and made like Bobby's own little Begin Again episode. And he also mentions stuff about Broken, which is when the like all of the power goes out at dispatch, so they have to do everything like very analog, and how he wanted that concept to translate to the characters as well. I think in one of them he says like the characters are broken, so they have to like deal with that, and I'm like, oh god. So it's just a lot of like previewing what's coming up, kind of drumming up some excitement for that. So that's kind of what those were about. So I think that's it for like press. That's all I kind of found at the moment. And then we can get into a little like red string corner, which is one of my favorite things. So this episode was directed by John J. Gray, and keen eyes will know that John J. Gray started out as a writer with 911 in season 1, and he wrote Next of Kin, which was episode 3, which kind of makes a little bit of sense because that was, of course, the Chimney Rebar episode. He also wrote Stuck 204 in season 2 with, you know, everyone getting stuck. There was the elevator scene, and I think with that there was a lot of stuff about, that was the is it weird that I still live at Abby's place? Yeah, me too. Don't tell anyone though. It was that episode. So I think there are some interesting themes here in his writing. So we get a lot of like chimney focus. We get a lot of like feeling stuck and wanting to move forward sort of thing. He obviously didn't write this one. I think it's the first one that he's directed for 911. And I looked at his IMDb, and it might have been, I don't know for sure, it might have been his directorial debut, because he also went on and did some directing for 911 Lone Star, and I think he directed a Dr. Odyssey episode.
I was going to say in the Ryan Murphy extended universe.
Well,
I'm assuming
he also was a writer on American Horror Story, so everyone is connected in that way. But I thought it was kind of funny because he directed in Dr. Odyssey the wellness episode, which was the one where like because we've all watched it, and it's the one where like everyone is like recovering from their surgeries and stuff like that, and I'm just like, that's a weird through thread.
Yeah, it is,
but noticeable, I guess.
Interesting.
So he's gone on to do a lot of other directing also with Ryan Murphy stuff. So we're talking a lot about jumping the shark, right? And that is a phrase that was coined in 1985, and it was in response. Yes, it was in a response to a 1977 episode from the 5th season of Happy Days, in which the character Fonzie literally jumps over a live shark while he water skis. So it was kind of about like it kind of took off as a phrase saying like, oh, are all of the storylines done that we really have to, you know, do something wild and crazy, and essentially became known in TV as jumping the shark. And there are a couple other related idioms that are kind of similar. There's one that's like nuking the fridge, which is kind of modeled after Jump the Shark, and it was, I think, specifically applied to the 2008 Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where he survives the atomic bomb detonation by like closing himself in a lead-lined refrigerator.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And people criticize that being like, it's absolutely scientifically implausible. So that's kind of like, you know, like
that's where we're drawing the line with realism in Indiana Jones.
I know, right? Like, and not like the crystal skulls being aliens and stuff. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So kind of similarly. And then there's another one, which is kind of the opposite of jumping the shark, which is colloquially known as growing the beard, which was about, I know, I thought it was pertinent, But that that relates to Star Trek: The Next Generation, where in the first oh my god, the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation had the character William Riker. He was clean shaven, but in the second season he had like a full beard and mustache. So people kind of equate that to a show getting better after like a first season sort of thing, which I kind of feel like we talk about happened with 911 a little bit.
I mean, are you really going to say that 911 grew a beard in season 2? Because I feel like we have to write an apology letter to Shannon.
I know.
How much shit we give her. Because there's just too many jokes. I'm so sorry.
So I thought it was kind of a little perfect, because like we talk about, or a lot of people talk about how, you know, sometimes you just kind of, I don't think so, but I know, Han, your experience was a little different because you started with season 2 and you didn't know if like you had started with if you had started at season 1, if you'd gone on. So I think there's an element of 911 growing a beard in season 2. And also I just wanted to, you know, talk about the fact that I kind of think 911 has inherently jumped the shark from the first episode.
Yes.
With like the pipe baby, like
it's on purpose. That's why it's only jumping the shark if it's not
on
intentional.
Exactly. But like, so there's almost, it's kind of genius because there's almost nothing that they could do. Almost. They still managed to surprise us, right? But there's almost nothing that they could do that would like feel so jump the sharky.
Bees?
Yeah. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
No, that did happen. It did happen. That was based in reality, okay? So, like, the most jump the sharky was the vertigo.
I think the definition I'm familiar with of jump the shark is specifically it's like the show has outlived its intended purpose, right? Because I think you put it like, do we have nothing else to write about? And that is another way of saying it, but it's to be like, okay, the story started to talk about these characters going through these things, and if there's nothing more to talk about there, to the point where like the show is about
You're
something
just spinning
completely
your wheels.
different,
Yeah,
then we've jumped the shark now.
Yeah, but it's interesting because that phrase has kind of taken on a life of its own, because like Happy Days had multiple more like successful seasons. So I
love that show.
In the definition of like what that's come to mean, like that isn't even actually true.
I know.
In like the definitive sense for Happy Days, but it's just like one of those things.
Someone was taking Happy Days entirely too seriously. Yeah. That's all I know about that. But yeah, I think it would be kind of impossible for this show to truly jump the shark, because like it has been serving the same thesis statement since it began. Yeah. Which is to show the like lives of first responders and like serious, like a good found family, right? And then just nonsense. Yep. Just campy fucking nonsense. That's it. That's the show.
And a little bow.
That's what it is.
That's the show. Yeah. So I think it would be very hard for them to jump the shark.
I think if we didn't do it with the doppelganger, that's probably the closest I think they've truly come, because it was just like so out there.
But like at the same time, it makes sense for the characters. So can we really even call that jumping the shark? And I don't think so. And then there were a couple, just another thing, the idea of tiger parents. It was originally called like tiger mother, but tiger parenting is a form of strict parenting where the parents are like very and highly invested in ensuring their children's success. And I think we see a lot of that in this episode, specifically with Athena's mom. We also see it very briefly with the mom and the daughter in the car that the shark right before the shark car crash and everything. That was a term that was brought to public attention by a Yale Law School professor, Amy Chua, in her 2011 memoir, Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother. I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. So I think that is another one of those themes that we see kind of throughout with all of the parents, because we see a lot of parents. And also the shark was a tiger shark. So that just another way to like get that in there, you know?
Oh my god.
Like it wasn't just any shark, it was a tiger shark. Which I think has no other bearing other than like, you know, it happened right after we saw that mom and the daughter in the car talking about the girl wanted, you know, the typical college experience with the tailgates and everything. And the mom's like, no, I want you to have an education.
Yeah.
And then boom, tiger shark.
Oh, party, mom.
So I think they name drop like the University of Miami. It's a party school, which is true.
Yeah.
So like that's fair.
None of us are affiliated with the University of Miami, just FYI.
No. Different Florida schools.
Mhm.
But anyways, so that's kind of what I pulled the string for in this episode. Just kind of interesting stuff. I think it's interesting.
Agreed.
See.
Shall we swim into themes?
Do you have a pun written for every segment intro?
I don't. That was right off the top of my head. Thank you very much.
You know, she's
Right
a
off the
natural
top
at
of my
this.
fin.
Come on. She's a professional
Sometimes she writes them down, though.
punish. I don't know.
That's if I have enough time to think about it beforehand, which I do
Were you
not.
always just call her a natural pun-isher?
I didn't have anything. I was focusing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think.
Anyway, themes.
Swimming into themes.
So the big theme that I noticed in this episode was having faith in your instincts.
Yes.
Yes.
Listening to your gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Something's weird. You know that like see something, say something, but like do that with your own self, like your own feelings.
Yeah. There's so much emphasis on these characters like having really good intuition, and not even just intuition, like they've also just built the skills to have good instincts. But I think a lot of that is, you know, you have to have a foundation of like, you know, having faith in your gut. But
Right.
like Athena, Maddie, the little boy, Stevie, not Stevie. I'm trying to
Stevie, not Stevie.
Yeah. Like they all had a gut feeling, and it turned out to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
So stick with your gut, but don't
But
get
don't stick it
stabbed
in your gut. It's
Yeah.
important to make that
Which-
differentiation. Yeah.
I kind of wonder if that was like a purposeful thing.
That's evil.
That would be evil, right?
Well-
Because- wait, no.
Tim Minear is evil, and he wrote this episode, so
I'm maybe giving more credit where credit, but credit where credit is due. But like, no, I think that actually kind of makes sense, because in the last episode we talked so much about how Chimney is so trusting. He didn't have a gut feeling about
Nope.
Doug, aka Jason Bailey, and it was just like, yeah, nothing's wrong here, and ends up getting stabbed in his gut as a punishment for not.
he's got lots of feelings there now.
Oof. At least it wasn't the head.
Again.
Yeah.
So the obvious one, new beginnings. You've got Maddie who's talking about like that she's, you know, basically she's kind of like reinventing herself. Like she's got, you know, lots of things going on for her. Then we have like Athena's like new beginnings where, or at least we're trying to, she's not rediscovering. She is, it's kind of more like a look back as to like how many new, not how many, but like her going to LA being like a new beginning. So we've got some of those obvious.
But also, she's starting a new beginning with Bobby.
Bobby. Yeah.
So it's a little bit of like full circle.
Then we have overbearing parents, which
Yeah, kind of goes
self-explanatory.
kind of goes with like that tiger
Well,
parenting
yeah.
thing.
We already
Um,
touched on this a couple times already. I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll touch on it more.
And then this idea of running, whether it's away or it's towards something. So we, like you said, with Athena, like her mom says, you keep running away from me, but Athena sees it more as like a running towards something, which I think can also be connected to Maddie as well, because at the very beginning of this season, you know, she was running away from Doug, but she was running towards this new life for herself. And then also the little boys, they're running away from
Mhm.
the guy that abducted them, but running towards their real families. And abductions, which we already
And
talked about.
abductions.
There's lots of those. Even just in mentioning, like bringing back is it Tanya Kingston? Like bringing that back. There's just
I'm sorry. I was like, this. I don't want to do season 8 speculation. Let's move on.
oh no.
Who's cooking?
Anyone want some fish and chips?
Fish and chips?
I'm sorry, that was really bad. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say let's splash into who's cooking.
Oh my god.
Well, now I have to do it for all of them.
Everything is over my head tonight. I'm too tired.
I get it now.
Honestly. Wait, what?
It took Rachel that long to get it.
Wait, I thought she got it.
I thought she did too.
I just thought it was cute.
I mean, it was cute, but I was trying to understand the throughway. Then I got it. All right.
Very clever.
Anyway, Rachel, do yours. So bad. Anyway,
Let's splash into who's cooking. Oh,
it's sizzling. That's for sure.
let's see who's serving up some fish and chips with who's cooking.
Well, it's
There you go.
that's not on the menu at the Grant's house tonight. What's on the menu is overbearing parents.
Oh yeah. Which we get like such a heads up about this, right? With Michael coming in and just being like,
Yep.
"Hey, bye, good luck, I'm out of here." And then and Bobby's just kind of like, what? Because
like
this
a
is
sim.
this is the meeting the parents. Yeah, this is the meeting of parents, so it's already like kind of high stakes. And then Michael's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go before they leave. I don't have to be here anymore. See ya."
Mhm.
He's like, Beatrice never liked me, actually. So-
And now he's the better, like, the better option in her eyes. Oh my god.
This is great for me.
Oh my gosh. It's kind of a mess of a first meeting of the parents, and even Athena's like, "Just remember, they'll be gone by Saturday." And Bobby's
That's the
just
like most heads up I think she's given him about them at
anything.
all.
Yeah.
Because like Michael's comments, Bobby looks like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
So her just running in like, just remember whatever happens, they're leaving in a couple days. It'll be fine. Like what? What do you mean?
Yeah, I feel like you gotta give a little more than that. But this is
Gonna use some
Athena.
more preparation for this. Yeah.
So what a first meeting, and you really do see when Athena's mom and dad, so Beatrice and Samuel, come in, and they're just like Samuel's a little like easier to warm up to people, but I think
Mhm.
it's because he is the buffer for his wife.
Mm.
because he knows that she can be like very brash, very harsh. And Beatrice says to Bobby, "Well, you're tall." It's just like not even like a nice to meet you.
You're very
tall.
Tall. Yeah.
Like the most thinly veiled kind of like.
It was the pregnant pause.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone knows what she was actually saying.
Yeah. So it's kind of it kind of proves to right off the bat to be an uphill battle for Bobby.
Yeah.
And you kind of see like even Athena doesn't super get along with her family, especially at the family dinner gone wrong. I think this is another night, but when they're preparing for dinner and Athena asks Bobby to, go ask Harry to do something or other. And we get this quote, like, you have to learn at some point to go from being best friend Bobby to stepdad Bobby. So you have Athena giving Bobby the authority, essentially, to be a parent figure to her kids. Like, she is the one setting those boundaries, and Bobby's just like, yeah, I'm game. I'm up for it. So he goes to Harry and in front of the grandparents and everything. And Beatrice is just like so put off from this, being like, you're not these kids' fathers.
She's just looking
Father.
for any excuse.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Because this is actually a completely normal thing for any adult
Right?
to do.
Yeah. And it's not like Bobby didn't do it with like the most gentle parenting like way possible.
Yeah, like he got down on his knee and like he was like at eye level with Harry and like he was like, "Hey, put this away." And Harry's like, "Oh, I'll do it later." And he's like, "No, you really need to do it right now. Please." Please. Like it's like a gentle and a nice way. It's proper parenting, I would say.
Bobby's a good
But
dad.
I don't know. This lady was just like anything. Like she was looking for any reason to just be like,
there's no way he was getting out of this unscathed no matter what he did.
No. It could have, and it really could have probably been anything. Whatever step he would have taken next, she would have called it a misstep. And it's just
she
like
does the same thing with her own daughter. So
Yep.
And it's just like the bristliness is so hard to try to like combat with kindness, I think, which like Bobby does, because then it kind of the whole thing turns into a whole kind of kerfuffle where Athena, stands up to her mom being like, no, she kind of stands up for Bobby and for herself being like, this is my house. These are my kids. I can tell them to do whatever I want, basically.
Her mom just does not respect. She doesn't respect Athena and doesn't respect her choices and doesn't respect, therefore, that she's in Athena's home and like Athena's like partner choices, her parenting choices, like name it, whatever it is.
Nothing is good enough.
Nothing's good enough. And you get the feeling and the strong impression even before like find out more about their relationship that like this is how it's always been. So yeah, it's like escalating and she says some even more rude things to Athena and Bobby steps in like with all due respect, and I'm like, which is none.
None deserving.
Because you earn respect and you earn the respect that you show. So with all due respect, she's an amazing woman. She's a great mother, and she doesn't deserve to be talked to this way, like especially in her own home. And her dad is immediately like, "You're right. Why don't we apologize?"
And
she's like, "We'll be gone in the morning."
Cold. That was just cold.
It's so cold. She apologizes not for what she said. She says, "I apologize that I said that."
Said it in front of the children.
In front of the kids.
Yeah.
And it's just like so. I mean, you kind of do see where
diabolical.
You see where Athena gets her like strength from. However, like Athena is so much warmer than her mom. Like that is stone cold. Like can't even like acknowledge that you upset your daughter and your grandkids, that they had to go in the other room, and at least like Athena's dad does say, like your mom stepped over the line. Like he is aware of that, but there's only so much that he could do. And it seems like this is the dynamic that Athena really grew up with, and I think we see later on like she is typically a little closer to her dad because her mom was such a harsh critic in her growing up. So he has to like be the mediator, like the middleman, and between two very strong women, that's a hard place to be. But she's like, Athena's mom is like unyielding, so she'd rather leave early than apologize and spend the time with the family, which is really disappointing. But she does bring into question Athena's instincts, which again we know are so good always, personally and professionally.
Hey, where's the fire? So for our scene dissection today, we are going to talk about this talk with Athena and her mother at the end of the episode, where her mother follows her into her bedroom as she's like putting her gun in her safe. And like it starts out kind of, you think it's gonna go one way because she's like, I'm just trying to figure out like what we're doing, because like it seems like the way we're going, it's either going to be you cut me out of my life or I die before that happens. Like, that's kind of
Yeah.
where we're going, the way we're going. So I'm like, oh, communication. Are we going to listen to each other? Oh, no.
No,
Okay,
no,
just
it's like it
same
really
thing.
it really does kind of like lead you to think that we're going to get a breakthrough with them
Mhm.
because her mom comes in and is like, I never understood why you wanted to become a police officer, but maybe I understand it a little more now after she
Mhm.
sees, Athena's heroics kind of with the two boys, because that also brings up for Beatrice the Tanya Kingston
Mhm.
whole thing, which we have already heard about from Athena. So it's like it's interesting that they bring this up again through kind of like Beatrice's eyes, and then we're also like realizing at that same time as she brings it up that like of course Athena was going to like go like miles above and beyond for these boys because this is the reason that she became a police officer in the first place, like to help
Yeah.
that kind of redemption of her being not able to help. And it's just one of those things that's like still haunting Athena's narrative. So you think all that to say, you think we're going to get like some breakthrough, right? Like they're going to see some common ground with each other, and it falls short.
Mm-hmm. She's like, well, I understand this a little more, but like, I don't understand anything else about your life. And it's like, I don't think you understand that as a parent. You don't have to understand the choices that your kids make. You just have to support them and love them no matter what. Like, that's literally
You
your
just
job.
have to love them anyway.
Anyway, yeah,
Oh
that's
my God.
literally your job. Like, you I don't understand your choices and you're ruining your life. Okay, well, that's my own choice to make then, isn't it? Because I'm not a child. Also, the implication of that being like you're ruining your life.
Yeah.
When it's like, okay, so the last mistake I made where I married a gay man and had a family with him, like that was a mistake.
Well, she says that earlier when she's like having the big confrontation with each other. You marry a gay man, you marry a white man.
I know.
And
but the implication of being like, and when you like, basically when you ruin your life again, like I don't know that you're going to be able to like put it back on track or this time or something. And it's like, she's just, I don't know. She just seems like one of those typical parents that's like, I have structured out exactly what you should be doing with your life. And if you veer from this path, then you're a failure.
Mm-hmm.
With no consideration for their child's autonomy. And I think this also, in saying that, it just occurred to me that this probably like refers back to a lot of what we saw at the beginning of this season too, especially when we were talking about like Eddie and Christopher, and Eddie wanting to give Christopher the independence that he was seeking. That would be a crazy comparison to make between like Eddie and like Bobby's version of parenting versus like Athena's and Eddie's parents and all that stuff. But it's just, it seems so strange to me that like you have a parent and their child who is a full-grown adult and has built like a beautiful life for themselves with kids who love them and they love them back. And even though it's not like the most traditional in a sense, and of course there were missteps along the way, but like became beautiful opportunities, like, Athena finally moving on from Michael and finding a new beginning with Bobby. Like, how can you look at all of that? And that's just personal. So like also your child is a sergeant and like does amazing police work. How can you consider that a failure? That's
the
so
way
bizarre
that
to me.
she starts that convo where she's like, I know our lives are really different because like you've done all of this and like I just had like I married one person and had one kid and they were perfect until one day they just left for no reason. And I'm like, no reason, Sure, it had nothing to do with anything about the way you are.
There's not a lot of like taking accountability for the fact that like Beatrice was probably a lot of the reason why Athena felt like she had to seek out her own life, because Beatrice was putting all of this like pressure and expectation, here we have pressure again, on Athena that Athena never wanted nor embraced.
It's also the running away and running towards something where her mom thinks that she was running away, and like in a way she was, but she says like, I was running towards something. I was running towards the life that I wanted to make. And you could tell that it was implied that that life was going to be far away from her mother.
And I kind of get the sense that Beatrice was putting a lot of this kind of pressure on Athena because I think like a generational thing, like
Definitely.
you know, how maybe Beatrice probably had aspirations that she never got to achieve. That's kind of what I'm getting. So she was like almost living vicariously through Athena and being like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. Like you're gonna go to law school and be a lawyer and be high powered. And you know, I think Hen says to Bobby that it was less, you know, like raising a daughter and more like training a warrior. And we really see that, but it's like, where does that stem from? And I think that's something like inside Beatrice that maybe she never got to achieve some of her big dreams. And in doing so, didn't leave enough room for Athena's.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way that Hen talked about it is like she was implying like part of it is reasonable in the way that like she had to raise her daughter to be strong and work hard because of being a woman and a woman of color.
Yeah.
So like that part makes sense. But like the like anything you do that's outside the path that I have laid before you is just you ruining your life is insane. Because therefore it's like, well, anything she's done since she left Florida is a failure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and if she's saying that, it's kind of like saying even the grandkids. Like, you know, if you really want to reach.
No, I mean, I don't think that is that much of a reach because, like, if it was such a mistake for like Athena to marry Michael, which she does mention, like, then kind of by association, Harry and May are also mistakes because otherwise they wouldn't exist. And, like, I think you do see that Beatrice does love her grandkids, but we also, and I don't know if it's because we don't get a lot of opportunity to see her interact with the kids as much because it's not as important to the story of the episode, but like I think she does love them and she treats them like sweetly, but what does her, you know, unconditional love look like for Beatrice? And
she doesn't have unconditional love, I don't think.
It's interesting because like she would say, you know, during that first confrontation after the dinner, Beatrice was confronting Athena, or they were just having their own confrontation, and they were talking about how like, you know, May was, you know, she did that. And that Athena didn't reach out or tell her or anything. And then Athena's like, well, you would have, it wasn't, she didn't see the need to tell her, especially because she felt like she was just going to make it about herself, I think.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I think she said that her and Michael needed to focus all of their energy on May and not on Beatrice.
Yeah.
And Beatrice was like, but I would have wanted to help. And Athena said, like, you never just want to help. So Athena was doing what she was supposed to by essentially protecting May and Athena and Michael from her mom, which is like an unfortunate thing that she had to do. But if she felt like she had to do it, we understand now.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, like, I feel like she would have just been, it would just be a critique, a lot of criticism all around when they're going through a serious time. So it makes 100, you know, it's 100%, like, it makes sense, like, why.
She was already blaming herself, so like she didn't need to add her mother on top of that. And then like that kind of makes you wonder how, like, obviously Beatrice plays a big role into the kind of self-doubt or guilt that we see Athena experience sometimes. Like that's a great example, or the beginning of this season. You know, with Bobby and Athena and the like not wanting to, and her whole him being like, are you ashamed of me? And her being like, no, well, yes. And like I just feel like you could like beat for beat look at everything she said was an issue and draw that back to her mother.
That's exactly it. Yeah, because it's so ingrained in her, even though Athena, as we see, has done so much work to like move past that. And I think she generally healthily has, but it's always harder when, you know, they're right in front of you and you always revert a little back to it, right? A little back to like who you would have been like as a younger self. And like the blocking and the framing of that scene at the end where when they're in the bedroom is really lovely, and I feel like kind of poignant because you have like Athena putting away her gun in the safe, so she's like technically more vulnerable, right? Not that she would ever use it in the house, but she puts it away. So she's doing that compartmentalization where she's putting the job away, and now it's all personal stuff, but you do see like there is some overlap there. And you know, so Beatrice comes into the room but doesn't quite enter it yet, and Athena is turned away from her just because that's how she's sitting on the bed. And I think at the beginning of this hand you said that, you know, they were talking about they were rushing towards something, and I think Beatrice says something about like will you just like turn away from me again? And then we see Athena kind of like turn away, but like not out of like spite, just kind of like turning in on herself and like protecting herself and her peace. So even though her weapon is put away and she's she is vulnerable to like receive this kind of conversation, it still doesn't get them anywhere. And it's just like a really lovely scene where Athena never really turns towards her mom, and her mom is the one to leave also. So it's like it's kind of all on her mom's terms with that. So I just think like the framing and the blocking of that was really well done, because it shows like this unspoken language, this unspoken conversation that they're having like underneath what they're actually talking about too.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the abduction?
Yeah.
So during that conversation that Athena and her mom have, they do mention, what is her name? The kid's
Tanya
name.
Kingston.
They do mention Tanya Kingston. We don't know who Tanya Kingston is, but sorry, hold on.
We do now.
We do. We do now. We also know.
Like,
we also know.
We've heard the story of it from Athena's point of view, and I forget which episode, but she's talking to Hen. So like they bring it back up again.
They bring it back up again. Thank you.
But now we really know.
But
was it Hen Begins?
Was it?
Maybe. I forget. I was going to look it up earlier. I didn't have it's fine.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've done regular episodes. So they bring up Tanya Kingston, and you know, that's kind of like we get I feel like we get a little bit more information about Tanya Kingston, just a little bit. But it does, the way Athena's mom brings that up, it makes you I guess go back to the case that Athena just solved in this episode, you know, with the abduction of these kids. And with Tanya Kingston, like, it was a case that they couldn't find her except for a little barrette. But like in this case, like Athena was able to bring those kids back home to their real families. And so like it makes you think if we'll get more information down the line, which we technically do, spoiler alert. Yeah, I just don't I don't want to go like all the way down
too deep to
like,
it. But she helps save the day for these kids by trusting her gut. And even when she talks to Stevie after that first call, and they do the little welfare check, and they have this like really lovely heart to heart where you can obviously see like Athena is kind of putting herself in this kid's shoes as well. And she talks about like, you know, parent approval is something we all crave, but it can't let us stop us from doing the right thing. And I think that is like the thesis statement for Athena. And what a lovely thing to kind of bestow upon this kid who seems like he's second guessing his instincts, right? And she kind of, again, catches on to that because she's smart detective lady. She's like, you know, trust your gut. If you know something's right, you can't let other people stop you from doing it.
I think this is a good transition into Maddie. Because if it wasn't for Athena's gut, but also for Maddie's gut initially, because, you know, it was a call that like could have been innocuous, could have just been a kid calling 911 because their parents were mad and they were grounding them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But she felt like something was off. And instead of just like brushing it off and being like, everything's probably okay, you know, she
Yeah.
listened to her instincts and she's like relearning how to do that.
Mm-hmm. And Sue even says that too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Sue's like, stop questioning your instincts. You're coming into your own and you don't even know it. And I think that's especially true because there's a line dropped when Maddie is boxing with Buck and she's like, yeah, I got dispatcher of the month. So like Maddie, just like Athena, is really good at her job because she trusts her instincts. But she, unlike Athena, who has kind of always gone with her instinct, Maddie is trying to rebuild hers after kind of doing the same thing that Athena did, which was running, but she's running towards a life that she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like without Maddie, like this could have been just another one of those cases that haunts either of them, kind of like the Tanya Kingston case.
Yeah.
It is really lovely seeing Maddie like take control of her life, maybe more actively. So of course this is, when it's gonna all go to shit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, she's thriving,
yeah.
So she says that. She fully believes that she's thriving, which she is. I mean, was it dispatcher of the month that she got?
Mm-hmm.
And I think further down the episode, she, after her conversation with Buck, like, I think something like, he basically convinced her, like, why not actually date Chimney? Because he's like,
Yeah, he's like, so if you're doing so well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. So like
The other shoe to drop.
I guess she is because at that point she does show up at the fire station and she presents Chimney with divorce papers.
I think that's so cute. It's like, look what I'm doing. I'm doing it.
It feels kind of sudden.
Oh my God, Chimney's so great
I love that
in this whole scene. Like classic Chimney, man.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it, but how Chimney's like, she laughs at my jokes. I'm like, yeah, because you're funny. And anyone who tells Chimney that he's not funny has to go through me.
Exactly.
Because that is my
the Punisher.
taste.
You don't want to mess with her.
No.
But yeah, so Maddie, her kind of whole journey in this episode is just her showing us and reminding us that she is really coming into her own, that she's taking control of her life.
She's worked so hard to do it.
And I love this scene with her and Buck. It's so cute. I don't think we ever get to see them doing anything kind of like active like this again.
I want them to.
But it's so cute.
They might after.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Season
Jesus.
8, I don't know.
But yeah, I think it's really important to note that, she's like, I'm not doing any of this for Doug. I'm not doing anything because of Doug anymore. Like, I'm doing it for me. And I think that shows like the amount of growth that she has really made.
Yes.
Because she was doing everything like out of fear. Yeah.
The choices that she's making now are not fear-based, but they're confidence in herself, right? And her situation, and also
going after what she wants.
And this feeling of safety and comfortability that revolves so much around her and Chimney's relationship, just in general. Buck played a part in it too, of course. But yeah, so like I think that's why she like a little cat presenting, look what I got for you with the divorce papers. like showing she comes like presenting, like not even a little hey like text or phone call like hey I'm gonna do it. No, she goes with a purpose over to the station. She's like, here, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna serve Doug with divorce papers. And Chimney is obviously like so proud of her, but he's also like, are you sure? Not in a way of like questioning her judgment or her choices, but in kind of like a checking in. Are you sure? It could mean that he knows where you are.
It will mean that he knows where she is.
And so much of her purpose so far has been, carving out this safe space for herself. But Chimney is also her safe space. And he's still very supportive of that. And she like gets the confidence to ask him out on the date finally. And it's so cute.
It's so them. honestly.
It's so like
Everyone's
rom-com.
watching them.
And then you get the peanut gallery over there, just like watching on, like from the loft, like, oh yeah, good, yeah,
Well played. Yeah.
good, yeah. And it's so cute, and everyone's just so supportive, just lovely. And I love how much progress Maddie makes, and then I hate how much she has to like take a step back in the next couple episodes, especially with her and Chimney. Like that hurts my heart because they're so obviously like meant to be, so perfect for each other. They
MFEO. Made for each other.
oh okay.
I'm sorry, I'm too old. I need to go.
What is that from?
You guys know OTP, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. I can stay, I guess. You've never seen Made for Each Other abbreviated to MFEO?
Maybe a few times, but not enough to like.
Okay.
Oh,
No. Anyway,
Continue.
I know FBO is Facebook official, so how's that for old?
anyway, as we're talking about the pre-date disaster.
And boy, what a disaster it is. It's
Well, yeah, I mean, she gets the phone call from her lawyer saying that they couldn't find Doug to serve him the papers, and that they did find her boss, and her boss is alive, but
not well.
you know, not well. She is unwell because of Doug. So
It just goes to show like how comfortable she feels about Chimney and with Chimney, that like she literally and metaphorically leaves the door open for him to come in to her life, right? And unfortunately, that is when things take a turn for the worse. And especially because with Doug, he takes advantage of the fact that Chimney just got buzzed in, so he like forces the door to stay open. So he's really like inserting himself in a place where he's not supposed to be, like very literally, of course.
I just think it's interesting how like the whole security system, was set up by Chimney.
Yeah.
she knows that they can't find him
Okay.
when she buzzes him in and leaves the door open.
Okay.
I'm just saying I would have kept some healthy fear of like not just leaving the door open. Like maybe opening it when he gets right to the door, not just your gate. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
It's a metaphor, and
I get it, but I'm just saying logically
I
that
know.
didn't fully make sense to
yeah,
me.
I think it also would take her longer to like truly process that and what that would mean for her if she had the time to really process it before, she gets abducted. Like if it was just Chimney.
Well, no,
coming-
because the whole reason she hadn't filed was because like she
Yeah.
was scared that this would happen.
Mhm.
And rightfully so, because this happens to a lot of women who do try to leave abusive situations.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm saying the logic is
Okay.
a little
Yeah,
squinty to me.
I mean, talk about false sense of security, right?
Mm-hmm.
So poor Chimney is really caught in the crossfire here because he's out here trusting this new person who he doesn't know much about, but it seems like a fine guy.
He showed up at your house with your wallet that went missing the last time you saw him?
Yeah, it was. And then continues to hang out. Like they're playing pool, and it's like I think Doug says in there, like they've met up multiple times. So they're really like developing a friendship. And he even talks about like
A misguided friendship.
Yeah.
Like the play on the words, like especially on his dialogue when he's just like, I'm just like, oh my God, Chimney, there's so many signs.
Okay,
Also-
so many signs. And like Chimney himself says that he is bad with hints. And it's like,
Yeah.
I want to know if the $20 bill thing is actually true.
well,
Because if it is, even more of a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, just headcanon here. I'm willing to bet yes, and he played it off as a joke, right?
Mhm.
Because we see this happen again when Maddie goes to ask him out and he jokes. He's like, oh, no, I can't. I'm busy Friday.
Mhm.
He plays it like a joke, but then he makes the call to Doug and is like, yeah, I have to cancel on Friday.
Oh, right.
And it's like, it wasn't actually a joke. So in classic like Chimney fashion, he does play a lot of things off as a joke. And I think generally he's a little better. No, he's not. He's not a little better.
Someone
at,
shows up at my house with my wallet. And they thought that was the thing to do instead of taking it to the police or the manager of the place where they found it. No.
I just gotta know. Well, it's not that I gotta know, because I mean, obviously, well, Rachel and I were born in the 90s. Han, here we're in the 80s. But like, I just...
Mhm.
The 1900s.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We were all born in the 1900s.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So nowadays, if somebody comes knocking at my door, and this is pre having a camera outside my door, I would not answer it. If you didn't call me beforehand, or any of that, I would not be answering the door. I don't care who you are.
I'm still living in that day and age.
No, anytime someone rings the doorbell and I'm not expecting anyone, I'm like hiding behind the window to see like if I know who it is.
Right.
And most of the time I don't. So then I like slink away. And I'm like,
Right?
I'm not getting that.
Exactly.
I'm just like, who is it? But like, I'm not going to reveal myself because otherwise they'll think that nobody's home.
Oh, why was I thinking about animated The Grinch slithering with like their behind up like across the floor?
Me. Except it's a little more like,
I feel like part of that is, I mean, society today, but also, or like the world today. But like, I just remember like back when I was a kid, and like I would have to stay home alone because, well, my mom was a working mom, single mom. She would be like, "Do not answer the door for anyone."
For anyone.
And I'd be like, "You got it, Mom."
No, my parents drilled that shit into me so good that I still don't.
Exactly.
When I have shit delivered, I'm like, you leave that at the door. Do not ring my doorbell. I do not want to interact with you. I don't know you.
unless you have food for me,
No.
not getting the door.
No,
I'm still not getting the door. You need to leave it and walk away.
Okay, but we didn't have that option until like
I know.
don't know, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
like that's that part though. Even if I had to open the door to get my pizza or something, I'd just be like, "Here's door," right? I'd be like, "Yes, oh cool, give me the food." Like a little
Slide it through the open slot in the door with the like the latch lock still on it. Yeah. It's just it's like it's kind of the same thing as like, when our parents were like, don't talk to people on the internet. Don't talk to strangers on the internet.
Well,
and it's like, well,
that went out the window.
It's the only place I want to talk to people.
Right.
Sorry.
No, but actual people? No, I'm sorry.
No.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, y'all just answer, like other generations would just answer the door for anyone? Why? What kind of day and time is that? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Isn't Chimney a millennial?
Yeah. No. Wait, no.
No. He's Gen X.
For sure.
How old is he supposed to be?
How old are any
Not
of them
how
supposed
old.
to be?
Not how old is the actor. How old is he supposed to be?
Isn't he
I'm
like in
pretty
his
sure.
50s?
Not that old.
Isn't Kenny like...
Kenny's 53.
Oh!
Howard Hahn, 1980. That's a millennial. I'm 99% positive. 81 to
81.
96.
81. He is Gen X by a hair.
Oh my God. Okay, whatever.
Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense why he's so trusting.
Well, I mean, also, like, you do have to think, like, he has met this guy in person twice now. In Chimney's mind, it's not a stranger.
I guess.
But like, Chimney, stranger danger.
But
You
3
don't
times
actually
is
know
not
him.
a coincidence. The third time that you saw him at your door, that should have been the red flag. Chimney, please. Anyway.
And it wasn't even like they were friends. They were just,
No.
Chimney sees friend-shaped person.
I know we talked about this last time.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't deal with
I
it.
know. I'm not saying it's good. This is like the only, I think, piece in the episode where like someone goes with their gut and it turns out to not behoove them in the end.
It also just seems so strange because like it seemed like from the little interactions we saw that like Doug was very much like trying to talk him out of the Maddie thing.
Yeah,
he
that's the
was.
weird part too.
And I'm like, and he was just cool with that? Like, haha, I can't be deterred.
Like maybe he thinks
Yeah.
it's like maybe he thought it was kind of like a, like a
Like
joke.
I don't know.
Well, kind of like, he's just looking out for his new buddy, right? Like that's kind of what he thinks. I think it also, Chimney was probably leaning on that because it was like a completely outside perspective. So probably thought that he would be getting like a
Yeah.
because everyone else knows Maddie.
His other
and, like,
friends are his boss, his future brother-in-law,
Yeah.
and his other future brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And his bestie.
Yes.
Who will give him, like, Hen will, like, give him... Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing, too. Like, why wasn't he talking to Hen about all of this? Because, like, they're the best friends.
I don't know.
And Hen always kind of, like, shoots it straight for him. For anyone.
Except for her wife.
Yes. I was waiting for that. Thank you. So I guess, like, Chimney was really like, okay, here's an opportunity for a completely third-party outsider with absolutely no personal interest in the matter. However, it turned out to not be that at all.
Yeah.
It definitely had ulterior motive here. And I think this is one of the reasons that Doug really, like, glommed on to Chimney, too, because he well, first of all, Chimney was just, like, very... just like...
They're very open, very trusting, very...
Yeah, very open, very trusting. But Doug finding out that he was interested in Maddie, I think that's where the ulterior motive was really coming in, because he was trying to, like, dissuade Chimney from pursuing anything with her. So he was kind of, like, keeping tabs on it in that way. But it's also when I think... I mean, granted, it was probably just, like, just biding his time, waiting for the right moment when he decided he was going to strike. I think it's that phone call that Chimney and Doug talk after Maddie asked Chim out. And he's like, yeah, Maddie asked me out. Isn't it great? Da-da-da-da-da. And I think that is when Doug says, okay, time to move. Time to strike. Stop. Yeah. And I did think it was interesting too. Like, he's obviously, like, just so off his rocker. He still wears his wedding ring also. And it's like, I wonder what if Chimney noticed that, like, what kind of and maybe asked about it. I wonder what kind of answer Jason Bailey would have given him.
Every single time you say Jason Bailey, I think Jonathan Bailey. I'm sorry.
Jonathan Bailey would never.
That's not even what I mean. But...
I know.
I just want to call him Jonathan Bailey now, which is blasphemy.
An insult to Jonathan Bailey.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
And again, maybe that was like because Chimney's gut, sent him the wrong way.
Chimney and his soft underbelly. Literally.
Poor Chimney.
Anyway, honestly, that was, I will just say, kind of out of the character arcs. Just taking a step back, that was the episode that really, really just like... I mean, I was already hooked to 911, but that was the episode that really, I was like, oh shit, they're really doing some shit here.
It's this arc, yeah.
It's intense.
Like, it is. Oh man, next episode's gonna be interesting.
And they both look so cute getting ready for their date, and Chimney brought the flowers and everything. I'm just like, I wish we could have seen that, because they're like our little rom-com couple.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad they're married now. They deserve more.
Deserve a redo of their wedding. But anyway, I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but
not here.
I'd like to see a redo of their wedding.
Yeah.
Preferably without the Buckley parents. I just don't.
You know what? Maybe we should do like a mini-sode that would probably not turn into a mini-sode. Comparing Athena's parents with the Buckleys and Eddie's parents.
No, that's a full episode. That's
Diaz's.
2 hours.
Yeah, at least.
Minimum.
I think that would be really interesting, though.
It would be interesting.
Let us know if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, we'll probably do it one day.
We'll find a reason to. So, speaking of I guess not hot takes, but I don't know.
I bet you thought Buck and Eddie don't interact in this episode. They can't have anything to talk about. Wrong.
False.
Did you forget all of season 1?
Where Eddie wasn't even there?
Eddie wasn't even there. We don't have that much to talk about, but we do have a little bit to talk about. And that's because Buck is stupid. Love him. He's so smart. So stupid. Gives great advice. Can't take it.
No.
Case in point,
Oh my gosh.
when he's boxing with Maddie, and she's rubbing him. It's her little brother, and she's like, "What happened to Earthquake Girl?"
Right, Allie.
And he's like, "She's still
I was like,
around." Like,
who?
she's yeah. He's like, "Oh, I forgot I was dating her." He's like, "She's around, like she's traveling for work, right?" And she's like, "Why is it every time you date someone they want to flee the country or the state?"
That was a low blow.
She's so older sister. That's
I
what
know.
we do.
No, that was
What we do.
That was hilarious, but it was like
I know.
almost getting too close.
It's
to...
the same thing as she just
Oh, I
showed up and
know.
he hadn't seen her in how long, and she's like, she's sleeping with other men.
Yeah.
And like, she was right.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
anyway.
just Maddie. She is correct.
Yeah.
However, it's just like, oof.
And then Buck is like,
Oh yeah.
at least when I date people, I date them. Which categorically untrue, my man.
Take your own advice, my guy.
So untrue.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. And
I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt right now in this season when you said it, even though I'm still squinting my eyes at you.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, what are the next 6 years?
That is the longest courtship I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Talk about slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's so funny too, because like this is something that Buck will bring up again when it comes to Maddie and Chimney. And it's just like, take a step back, like look at yourself. Just like have a slight out of body like experience and just like look at yourself doing the same things of like dancing around each other a little bit as like Maddie and Chimney.
Worse, you're raising a child together that you did not create together.
I mean, I think it also, in one way, shape, or form, it shows that, because Maddie and Chimney are best friends to lovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Buck and Eddie do a lot of the same things. So, like, what is the difference here? Why would one be together and one not be, right? And it's just kind of like...
Because they're stupid and closeted
Yes.
to themselves.
Well,
Mhm.
well, yes, but I'm just saying here you have like a man and a woman doing the same thing as these two men, but only the man and the woman are, canonically a romantic couple. I mean,
we don't have time to talk about that.
No, but I'm just...
Or an article that was written recently.
Which one?
The one that was like, why can't we just have strong male friendships?
Oh my god. What the fuck?
We have enough of those.
We have so many. If
all
you
of
want
them.
And if you want more of them, write them instead of gay people. I don't know what to tell you.
I almost wanted to respond to that with my own fucking
Oh my
essay.
God.
I didn't read it though. I just saw the headline. I
didn't read it either.
I should write something.
Yeah, I just saw like some of our mutuals like responding, and that was enough for me that I was like, I don't need that raise in my blood pressure today.
Nope.
No.
But anyway, I think we're going to hopefully see more of Maddie repaying this favor, as she has been trying to do since season 2.
Since like her first episode. No, it's like the second episode.
Sorry, the second episode.
Close enough.
But I think like once he says that and she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, how's Chimney? I'm like, oh, give me a call back to that. And her being like, Chimney, we're friends. Like
Gets more aggressive
Buck
about
stumbling
it.
over the word, we're friends.
I need a direct parallel to this scene because that's going to be, I mean, where we're at now, I mean, I feel like is answer enough about like what they're doing with them, but like I think that is just going to be like no.
But it's like after the realization or like her being like, okay, he's actually never going to get there, so I actually just have to smack him in the face with this.
Give him
I
a
have
little
to hold
push.
his hand while I say this.
Yeah. Which I think Buck thought that he was doing for Maddie way back when. I'm so sorry. I wonder if we would get something like that when, we have our dual Buckley
Abduction?
kidnapping.
Yes.
And they have to have a heart-to-heart. And it's like, and Buck spiraling because of Eddie sort of thing. And I'm just saying it's a perfect setup there.
Yeah.
So.
March can't get here fast enough.
Another thing for slow burn. Speaking about how, like, when Bobby is confiding in Hen about, the argument that Athena had with her mom and Bobby, stepping up and defending her. Hen tells Bobby, you had her back, which props to you, because like that's a hard thing to do. So that is the third reference to having someone's back in this season. The second reference where having someone's back is romantic, for a romantic partner.
It's normally romantic.
It's normally, exactly. So like, yeah, this is the third time that we're hearing someone having someone's back. And you're telling me that not all of because we hear it first with Buck and Eddie, of course, in the first episode of the season, but then we hear it with Eddie and Shannon about how they didn't have each other's backs, but they were supposed to because they're supposed to be romantic partners. So you have that as like a failed having your back, but Bobby and Athena are successful at it, and they have because they are romantic partners, equal partners. So it's just interesting that. And I know we're going to have this brought up again in later seasons, and I don't remember if there's more in this season specifically, but it's just like they keep using the same phrase of having the back of your partner in romantic context. I feel
like we should start a have your back-o-meter.
We should. We should, because it happens at least one other time later down in the seasons. But it's just so interesting because every time, except technically the first time, is all like explicitly romantic or explicitly about like romantic partnership. So it's like, you're telling me you can have my back any day, or you could have mine. Is not romantic when we see it everywhere else? Come on.
This is not related to this episode, but this made me think of it because you brought up that moment. I think I sent it to our one of our group chats,
one of them.
where it's like a gift set of like canonically what Buck looks like when someone he likes romantically like compliments him or flirts with him.
Like,
and he does this little like looks
thing?
down like smiles to self thing,
little bashful thing.
Yeah. Which was exactly the face that he made when Eddie was saying, oh, this scone is pretty good, and he's like literally
it's also
just like
the exact same thing he does when he's like, or you could have mine. Like it's the same.
Yeah, it is this.
I hate
it's the
them.
same thing.
Anyway,
yeah. So I just wanted to. Okay, we are officially starting our having someone's back-o-meter.
Yeah.
And it's all the counter is already at 3.
And I'm still Buck. I am waiting for the when you date someone, you date them to be in the room with us. Okay.
Mm.
Because that has not been true for a long ass time.
Pot calling the kettle black. Come on.
Yep.
So, that's so interesting. I just love that motif of having someone's back.
I know.
So good.
So just, I guess, to tease the next couple episodes, this is coming out the week before Christmas. And then our next 2 episodes are going to be the day after Christmas and New Year's. And that is going to be the first 2 parts of TTPD talking about which songs are which characters and doing some, analysis through that.
If you liked our Taylor Swift albums
our Swiftsgiving
character sorting that we put out over Thanksgiving, this is going to be similar to that, but we're going through like song by song and doing a little like deeper analysis than just like overarching vibes.
Mm-hmm. But this is only the first half of the album. And we've split it into 2 because I know you'll be shocked to hear this, but we could not shut the fuck up. So instead of giving you
the anthology in consecutive weeks, sorry about that.
So sorry. But we had a lot of fun doing it. So hopefully you will have fun listening to it when that comes.
Because we also plan to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So please tell us which albums you are most excited to hear in that way.
Maybe that will affect which one we do next. Even though I really want us to do Evermore next.
Even though it'll be springtime.
I don't care.
Did you guys do this as a poll by any chance?
No.
But I think we should do Evermore next because it's Buck's Evermore era.
Yeah.
Remember, don't jump the shark.
But if you do,
take a buddy with you.
Thank you for listening to the Buddy System podcast from start to finish.
We literally cannot shut up about 911, so please come talk to us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to get a personal shout-out in the next episode. The Buddie System is a Nerd-Virgin media production featuring music from Divinity.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to exclusive content and our Discord community.
Catch you next time, and don't forget,
Bring a buddy with you.